The Air series has been Macintosh's most famous line of PCs for a really long time. It's a notable machine, however one that has frequently been left without large updates previously. That is a long way from the case now. After 2020's huge change to the M1 chip, it's currently the ideal opportunity for the MacBook Air to get a major redesign, while acquiring a portion of the MacBook Pro 14's stunts. Design. Updated look makes this a more modest rendition of the new MacBook Pro blueprint. Incredible keyboard and enormous, responsive trackpad. 4 tones, including new increases 12 PM and Starlight. I can't reject that. When Mac declared the new MacBook Air M2, I was somewhat disheartened. Spills in front of the send-off had recommended a redesign. Along these lines is the 2021 iMac 24 inches, with a wide cluster of eye-getting tones on offer. Nonetheless, the new MacBook Air M2 copies its pricier MacBook Pro 14 and 16 kin as opposed to reflecting the iMac. That implies you have a boxier look than previously. With the notorious wedge design dumped, the new design is smooth and elegant, and it's significantly more versatile than the thick and examination 14 and 16 inches adaptations. This probably won't be the most slender laptop around, yet it's generally more slender than the past model and is unquestionably versatile subsequently. I have been hauling around a MacBook Pro in my sack for a couple of months, and slipping this in rather helps me to remember what compels the Air range so unique. It weighs 1.24 kilograms and has a level of simply 1.13 centimeters. That makes it more slender than an iPad Pro with an enchanted keyboard connected, making this Macintosh's most compact portable workstation. The expansion of MagSafe basically gives you an additional port, as need might arise to go through one of the USB ports for charging. You can in any case accuse of a quick USB-C link and charger, yet that doesn't come in that frame of mind. With a variety-matched MagSafe link, the substitution. The renewed introduction of MagSafe, a staple on MacBooks pre-2016, is a lot of gladly received. The attractive link disconnects assuming that you inadvertently stumble over it, something that doesn't occur with a standard USB-C link. A drove on the link likewise tells you when it's completely energized, which I tracked down a truly smart idea. The keyboard and trackpad are both awesome. The enchanted keyboard has sufficient travel for open to composing. Plus it packs a full line of capability keys and a touched sensor for biometric opening. Assuming you're refreshing from one of the MacBook Airs with Macintosh's famously dreadful butterfly keyboard, then the improvements here will make this overhaul worth the effort alone, particularly for the individuals who go through a large part of the day composing. Beneath the keyboard, there's a huge trackpad which utilizes the haptic reaction to reenact an actual press. The trackpad itself doesn't really move anyplace, yet I question you'd be aware so much. Screen, 13.6 inches is bigger than the past MacBook Air. Score is marginally irritating yet not entirely obvious. The screen on the MacBook Air M2 is the biggest you'll find on Mac's Air series, and it is an incredible board, regardless of whether it misses the mark on of the abilities you could find somewhere else. Apple has kept most of a similar screen tech from the past model, including the utilization of an IPS LCD board. You'll in any case have to go for the MacBook Pro 14 or 16 to get the more profound blacks and proper HDR performance that accompanies scaled-down drove. Another element missing here is the 120Hz ProMotion variable refresh rate tech. With this simply a standard 60Hz display, the change to more slender bezels has permitted Apple to extend the screen, moving it from 13.3 to 13.6 inches. This accompanies a disadvantage, however. There's a robust indent diving into the display from the top. The score doesn't be guaranteed to annoy me, and it mixes in at last. However, the absence of genuine moves up to the webcam makes it harder to swallow. The goal has been increased from 2560x16.0 to 2560x1664 to compensate for the greater screen, and the board is more brilliant than its ancestor. In my lab tests, the screen hit the greatest 500 nit brilliance that Apple asserted. That is essentially more brilliant than the typical 300 nit laptop screen. In my day-to-day use, I would in general keep the splendor at around half, which I felt was agreeable on my eyes in a sufficiently bright room. Having that additional couple of hundred nits accessible makes it usable outside, something dimmer screens aren't prepared to do. Performance. The M2 chip is definitely not a tremendous jump over the M1. 8GB RAM and 256GB in the base model. The redesigned webcam is still a piece garbage. After the tremendous jump forward Apple made with its M1 chip, the transition to M2 is continuously going to be undeniably more negligible. While I will get onto performance without further ado, we should go through the models accessible. You can get this laptop in 2 primary setups. The base model has a 8-center GPU, 8-center central processor, 16-center brain motor, and 8GB memory. I have been evaluating the pricier rendition, which will hinder you £1,499 divided by £1,549 and accompanies a similar 8-center computer chip, 8GB memory, 16-center brain motor, yet pairs the 256GB base stockpiling to 512GB and has a beefier 10-center GPU, 256GB of stockpiling. For myself and for a great many people I've examined this laptop with, simply isn't sufficient. Applications, photographs, motion pictures, games and so on are large nowadays, and I thundered past 400GB by simply moving a limited quantity of content from my more seasoned machine. There have additionally been reports the 256GB SSD is slow, but I haven't had the option to test this myself. On the off chance that you're seeing putting resources into this machine for the long stretch, I would propose plumping for the pricier model. 4 Kelvin video altering in both Adobe's Debut Pro and Apple's finished product Pro is effectively reachable with smooth looking at courses of events. The main way I figured out how to dial the machine back while altering 4 Kelvin film moved opposite an iPhone was to have it connected to Apple's 5 Kelvin Studio display. One of my #1 different ways of expenditure time is on Football Director 2022, and this is a famously computer processor concentrated game to run. My accomplice has a 13 inches Intel MacBook Air, and the game battles on that machine, confining graphical performance. That is not an issue by any means on the M2 MacBook Air, with the game letting more increase every one of the settings without lull. However, broadened gaming meetings made the laptop hot. In contrast to the 13 inches MacBook Pro M2, the MacBook Air M2 doesn't have a fan. That implies this machine is quiet constantly, yet it could tumble down with regards to supported exercises. I don't have the MacBook Pro M2 here to look at, so can't make any decisions on that yet. In any case, on the off chance that your work depends on supported exercises like long delivers, you'll have better performance from a machine with a fan, similar to the MacBook Pro M2 or MacBook Pro 14 inches. A ton of inquiries I have been posed to about this machine connect with its memory. As I referenced above, increasing the smash from 8 to 16GB comes at a lofty $200 divided by £200 cost. And plumping for this choice makes this considerably more costly than it begins at. I've been utilizing the 8GB rendition, and I think for a great many people it's entirely fine. I have seen a couple of episodes of memory log jam, yet this is generally when I have large applications like Lightroom or Photoshop open, alongside the Chrome program open and loaded down with tabs. Still worth recalling that you'll get the best performance here by running applications that are locally worked for Apple Silicon. Intel-designed applications generally work, however they go through an interpretation layer called Rosetta 2, so performance will be impacted. Battery duration, different charger decisions, including quick charging and a multi-port charger. Superb the entire day perseverance. Can be charged either through MagSafe or USB-C. Apple's M1 machines have produced remarkable perseverance, and the M2 renditions reflect that regardless of whether it drive things that a lot further. Over the 14 days of utilizing the MacBook Air M2 consistently as my primary work machine, I haven't needed to go after the charger by any means during an ordinary 9 to 5.30 day. This day would incorporate a couple of long stretches of Zoom call, perpetual leeway messages, composing in Google Docs, and periodic episodes of Photoshop and Lightroom. By the day's end, I would ordinarily be left with around 20% left, enough for the beginning of the following day. This was comparable to the outcomes I got when I checked on the MacBook Air M1. I ran a circled 1080p video with the brilliance set to half, and the MacBook Air M2 went on for almost 14 hours, which is up from 12 hours of the M1 machine. Finally, thanks for watching this video. See you again next time.